Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, we are making an Irish brown soda bread. I am so excited for this. This all came from you because remember when I told you a couple weeks ago, I asked about like some of your favorite St. Patrick's Day recipes you'd like me to recreate. We got a lot of Irish, Guinness stew, and everyone said if you're gonna make Guinness stew, you have to make Irish brown soda bread to go along with it. So your wish is my command, but that also means I have bread on hand to slather it with butter and jam, which, if that's not heavenly, I'm not quite sure what is. It is so simple. There is no yeast involved. It is delicious. It is nutty and wonderful. You'll need a combination of all-purpose flour and some whole wheat flour, very, very important. You need a little bit of granulated sugar, baking powder, baking soda, baking powder, and salt. Then you'll need some molasses, unsulfured molasses. You will need some buttermilk, and you're gonna need some butter. Very simple. I also like to put some oats on top. It's very simple. I've made about 3 loaves already because obviously I need to perfect every recipe. Basing this recipe off of one of my other Irish soda breads, and it is just fantastic. If you are a fan of toasted wheat bread with butter and jam, this is like the ultimate because you get such a lovely, delicious crust on the outside, but it's just phenomenal. It's insanely good. I'm taking my butter, cold butter. I need about 1/4 of a stick. I'm cutting it into small little cubes, and then I'm going to add it to my bowl with all of the dry ingredients. You could do this in a standing mixer. You could. However, sometimes it's nice to just live a little and put some elbow grease in it. You know what I mean? Give your dry ingredients a little bit of a mix. Add your cold butter. I also have my oven preheating at 375. I've got my, what is this? Cast iron skillet ready and layered with some parchment paper. I'm just gonna take my pastry cutter and I'm just gonna go ahead and cut the butter into the dry mixture. Looking good. I like to just get in here with my hands just to make sure there's no little square hiding somewhere that my pastry cutter didn't catch, but looks good. Looks fantastic. Okay, to my buttermilk. I'm gonna add some molasses, unsulfured molasses. I need about 1/4 cup. I always eyeball it because I'm good that way. There we are, there we are, there we are. This is going to also contribute to that really gorgeous nutty brown color and taste. Add that straight in. Yes. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna switch to a spatula. I also like to get every drip out. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and use a spatula. Now there's no yeast in this bread, but it does get some rise, and that all comes from the combination of baking soda to buttermilk. It's kind of magical. It does magical things together. It's fantastic. So I'm just gonna work this in. Really would have been so much easier with a standing mixer, but I had to prove a point that you gotta use elbow grease once in a while. I'm very much regretting that. I'm gonna switch to my hand. Look at that. Switch to my hands. Here we are. It's a little tacky. It's exactly what you're looking for. Shouldn't feel wet. Should just feel a little tacky. Place it in there like so. I like to just flatten it out a bit. Deep cross. And then I take a little pastry brush, with a little bit more buttermilk, and I brush the top. This kind of acts like edible glue, if you will, for those oats that I'm going to sprinkle all over. I could have honestly just used whatever's left over in there, but you know. And this is it's going to go in a 375 oven, about 45 minutes or so. You want the outside obviously to be a very deeply gorgeous golden brown color, and I want you to tap on it. If it sounds hollow, it is good to go, and let it cool for a bit. But I'm just gonna pop this in and clean up and keep an eye on it. Bread was in the oven 45 minutes, and it is sure, oh my gosh, tender, beautiful crumb, tender, okay? And the crust, oh yeah. I mean, this is just gonna be so fantastic. Oh my goodness, don't mind me. Why do I always destroy things, huh? Look at that. Still warm, because honestly, we've discussed what's gonna happen. We've talked about it. Oh my goodness. Mouth is salivating. We've discussed it, we've talked about it. Has to still be slightly more, because otherwise what's gonna melt that butter? You know, sorry. Listen. Don't throw it down. That is so good. That's perfect. Look at that. This is perfect. A delicious crust. Here. Tender crumb. Not dry at all. At all. All we need is a little Guinness stew, and a little bit more butter, and life is grand. Go to laurainthekitchen.com for the written recipe. I'm dipping it in butter. Let me live, okay? Ordinarily, I would not have thousands of people staring at me, and if you think I'm gonna let crusty crumbs, crispy and delicious, go to waste without dipping them in the butter, you don't know me. You don't know me at all. laurainthekitchen.com for the written recipe. Hope you enjoyed spending time with me. Please make this, please. It is so good, so easy. If you're afraid of yeast, well, don't be, because it ain't here. Hope you enjoy spending time with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.